Welcome to the Manuscript Papua. Today we highlight a serious issue that threatens the lives and culture of indigenous communities in Papua, particularly in the Merauke region. The government's food estate project, promoted as a solution for food security and climate mitigation, has in reality caused a food crisis, the loss of indigenous lands, and economic marginalization for local communities. Christian Solidarity International has once again highlighted how this project endangers the food sovereignty, culture, and rights of Papua's indigenous peoples. Christian Solidarity International once again emphasizes the serious threat to the traditional economy and food sovereignty of indigenous communities in Papua, particularly in the Merauke region. The Indonesian government promotes this project as a step toward food security and climate mitigation through bioenergy production. However, in reality, deforestation and land grabbing have destroyed traditional food sources such as sago, which is a staple food and an integral part of the cultural identity of the Marin people and other indigenous communities in Merauke. As a result, a project claimed to improve welfare has instead caused a food crisis, the loss of indigenous lands, and economic marginalization for local communities. CSI is also deeply concerned about reports of increased militarization around the project area, as well as acts of intimidation against indigenous peoples who attempt to oppose or question the legality of the project. In recent months, waves of protests in various regions in Indonesia, including Papua, have been met with violence by security forces. Therefore, Christian Solidarity International urges the United Nations Expert Mechanism on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, EMRIP, to first, continue monitoring and investigating the impact of the Merauke National Strategic Project on the rights of indigenous peoples in Papua. Second, urge the Indonesian government to temporarily suspend food estate activities in indigenous areas until the Free, Prior, and Informed Consent Mechanism, FPIC, is fully implemented. Third, ensure protection for defenders of indigenous and environmental rights who face intimidation or criminalization for advocating for their rights to land and food.
Thank you, Mr. President. Indonesia takes note of the EMRIP study on data collection and its report on traditional economies. We support the emphasis on data sovereignty, cultural sensitive data collection, and the role of traditional economies in sustaining livelihoods and biodiversity. However, approaches must reflect national context and governance systems. Indonesia's constitutional identity and strength are forged from its profound diversity, a nation of over 1,300 ethnic groups spanning 17,000 islands. Therefore, our legal framework intentionally used the inclusive concept of Masyarakat Hukum Adat, or customary law communities, which reflects our specific national context more accurately than the term indigenous peoples. Indonesia is transforming its diversity into tangible policy. To strengthen inclusion, the 2020 population census actively collects detailed ethnic and linguistic data. This commitment is enshrined in at least 9 national laws that safeguard customary rights to land, forest, coast, and natural resources. Globally, we champion linguistic diversity through UNESCO's International Decades of Indigenous Languages. To advance these efforts, we encourage EMRIP to continue its technical assistance, particularly in the Asia-Pacific region. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Christian Solidarity International asks the expert mechanism to consider the threats facing the traditional economies of the people of West Papua. CSI thanks the experts for their explicit attention to food sovereignty in their July report. In Indonesian-controlled West Papua, government and corporations, backed up by military operations, have already cleared 19,000 hectares in Merauke, out of a planned 2 million hectares intended for the Indonesian government's so-called National Strategic Projects for Food and Energy Estates. All are conducted without free, prior, and informed consent. Though the program proclaims the goal of improving the economy and producing bioenergy for climate mitigation, such deforestation and land appropriation disrupt traditional ways of life and prevent West Papuans from accessing foods such as sago, a staple food that is traditional to local economies. Protests throughout Indonesia against government policies spiked this past month, leading to violent clashes with government forces. With the increase in militarization under President Subianto, indigenous communities are particularly vulnerable and face limited options for recourse to protect their forests and livelihoods. How can the Indonesian government uphold in law and practice the right of indigenous peoples to self-determination, including to freely pursue their economic, social, and cultural development? Thank you.
Mr. President, Indonesia is strongly committed to a safe and enabling environment for civil society, which actively and freely contributes to our development and engages with the United Nations, including the UPR and treaty bodies. In the case against Indonesia, our government has provided a detailed response, clarifying that competent authorities found no evidence to support the allegations. We stress that the ESG report must give due consideration to government replies. Cases lacking credible evidence should not be included. It is also concerning that an additional case on Indonesia was included without prior consultation. OHCHR must engage government first to prevent unverified information in official UN documents. Mr. President, we are also concerned by the report's partiality. It focuses largely on the global south, while it fails to address serious concerns in the north, including persistent intimidation, arbitrary arrest, and reprisals against Palestinian activists. Even within academic institutions, such omissions undermine the report's credibility. We urge that future reports be objective, impartial, and non-selective. Thank you.